masturbated pretty early on.
Mm-hmm.
I distinctly remember sitting on the couch watching TV, like just out in the open in my living room and fingering myself and like realizing what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, oh, that felt good. But then it went on to using cucumbers and bananas out of the fridge
Mm-hmm.
and playing with that. And I had a boyfriend in high school. He was like a year younger than me and lost my virginity to accidentally the panties slipping.
The following podcast is for informational purposes only and does not constitute legal, medical, or any type of professional advice. While we strive to provide accurate and up-to-date information, laws and regulations surrounding sexuality, relationships, and consent can vary by location and are subject to change. If you have specific legal or medical concerns, we strongly recommend consulting with a licensed professional in your jurisdiction. Listener discretion is advised, as this podcast may discuss adult themes and sensitive topics. By continuing to listen, you confirm that you are 18 years or older. Welcome to the Siren of Freedom Podcast, sounding the alarm by bringing clarity and freedom to the realm of sexuality. Our aim is to give others a place to share their stories and release themselves from the weight of shame and guilt. Another day, another dollar, another episode of the Siren of Freedom podcast. And guess what? I'm excited. I guess you guys probably are used to that by now. Tonight we have a local friend here with us tonight. Kiki, say hi to everybody.
Hello, everybody. I'm excited too.
And she's got notes and everything, y'all. I don't know
I've listened to every episode of the podcast so far.
So you're ready to go.
I'm so excited.
Ready to rock. Even the one that just came out last Thursday?
Yes.
Look at her. She's up to date and ready to go. Okay, well, I'm just going to shut up then and let you talk since you know what you're doing.
I almost knew all the words to the song.
That's dope.
There you go.
She loves that song. Like, she'll play it just by itself while she's getting ready, and she's dancing around singing it.
It's very catchy.
It's your time. And she designed the whole concept. I just went and got the song.
It's awesome.
I just said, follow her design, and the rest is history.
I love it.
Okay, tell us about you.
Well, that's the thing is I listened to the first 3 episodes all in the first day,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like, this is me. I need to be on that podcast. I need to talk about what I've gone through because it's totally that. I grew up in a very strict religion, and I finally now, after so many years, have realized like who I really am and how sexually free I can be. And honestly, I like it. I like being kind of a pervert.
Born pervert, figured it out at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So take us through that. Like, what was your family dynamic growing up?
Yeah, so I'm the oldest daughter, and my mom was a stay-at-home mom. My dad worked, and he kind of traveled for work and stuff, but biggest piece of that was he was a drug addict when I was little, and I remember him getting clean and going to rehab. I was about 8, and that's been a big thing for me figuring out as an adult now, going to therapy and stuff, is that I've always sought men's attention because of that, because dad was always busy, either busy with work or busy working on his sobriety. And so it's very interesting to think about that and that be part of my history. I don't know. He was distant. I always craved attention. Anyways, I grew up very religious. My mom was in the religion. My dad was not. And so of course, no sex before marriage, and you're supposed to be, don't hang out with worldly kids. And
Now we are the worldly kids.
Oh, yeah.
Shit.
I was definitely the kids they were talking about.
Yeah. I married the worldly kid.
No, I mean, as a teenager, I wanted to do stuff. So I lived a double life as a teenager. But
How old were you when you, like, what did your parents talk about sex at home? Did your mom educate you at all? Or how did you learn about what sex was?
on my own.
Yeah.
I don't know. Not that my mom wouldn't talk about it, but I was embarrassed to talk to her about it because I heard my parents doing it at night. And I remember being little and being like upset that they were spending time and I wasn't with them. Like, because it seemed like they were having fun or something.
Oh, they were having fun.
And so I was like,
without you.
I would cry in my bed and try to get my dad to come in and talk to me.
Yeah.
Like, what? Like,
Yeah.
it's weird to think about that, but that's what I did.
Yeah, because you wanted attention. You didn't know the difference. You know what I mean? You knew that your mom was getting attention and you wanted it, not the same kind of attention, but you wanted attention from your father figure.
Yeah.
So you said you found out about sex on your own. Like, what did you do to learn about it then?
I remember watching Scrambled HBO, like on the TV channels that were
is that
scrambled.
like 3 or 4 people that...
Yep.
Well, we grew up in the 90s, so we also started with computers. And so I was in the AIM chat rooms and watching whatever I could get my hands on and watching movies that had sex scenes in them. And even though we weren't supposed to watch R-rated movies.
Oh,
that
right.
was
I know.
bad kid stuff. Yeah, I definitely remember exploring at a young age.
Like self-exploration or with other kids or...
Yeah, I didn't write that in my notes, but I remember having sleepovers and me and the girls, the other girls would show our boobs or, kiss or whatever we would do. I remember doing that, like probably middle school. Always boy crazy. I was always boy crazy. Always trying to get the boys' attention.
I think it's funny how they're always like, I experimented in college. And then like a lot of people that we're talking to, it's like, no, I experimented in middle school with other girls, right? Because that's, was the acceptable people to have for sleepovers, right? They're like, oh yeah, if we just have the same gender, then they won't be doing anything weird, Nope, didn't matter. So then at what age did you become sexually active? Like penetrative or sex with another girl? Like
I masturbated pretty early on. I distinctly remember sitting on the couch watching TV, like just out in the open in my living room and fingering myself and like realizing what I was doing. And so I was like, oh, that felt good. But then it went on to using cucumbers and bananas out of the fridge and playing with that. And I had a boyfriend in high school. He was like a year younger than me and lost my virginity to accidentally the panties slipping.
you were like trying to dry hump?
Yes.
And then whoopsies.
Yeah. And then we were like, wait, did that just happen? The worst part was he had just dyed his hair and it turned out purple. He didn't mean to dye his hair purple.
Yeah.
And that's like literally what we said. We were like, I just had sex with a purple haired kid. I was almost 15. I was 15.
Yeah. And how was that?
It's fine. I mean, it wasn't earth shattering or anything, but it was just like, I can't believe that just happened.
Here
like,
we go.
That was an accident.
Another first time story with no rose petals and no angel sounding trumpets.
Nope. It was like 3:30 in the afternoon
I
in
had
his
rose
bedroom.
petals and mine was trumpets.
Whatever. Yours was like in the bush with bushes with like
In the bushes.
another guy and girl when you were like 12.
It was a threesome in the bushes. That's fucking dope.
Dang.
There's no rose.
I haven't heard that story. Anyways, so yeah.
Back to Kiki.
Kiki was living that double life. I'll tell you what.
And
I was going to church but then I'd sneak out in the middle of the night and go to my boyfriend's house and sneak out at 5 a.m. before his parents woke up and before my parents woke up and went back home.
Were you getting any sleep?
Not as much as I should.
Yeah. Have a little fun, get a little nap. Did you ever oversleep and like not make it back?
I don't remember.
Probably not then.
Probably not.
You will remember that, I feel like. I spent the night on a bride and groom's floor on their wedding night. And it had nothing to do with sex. And my parents were like, why were you gone all night? And I'm like, it's a really long story and it has nothing bad about it, but it just sounds weird. So
Wow.
I tried to sneak out once and I didn't wake up when the alarm went off. And then the boys went to my parents' window. So my sneaking out things didn't really work out. I like my sleep too much. So
I like my sleep now. But
yeah, I'm like,
but I was a superhuman back then. I could work all day, school all day,
play all
party
night.
all night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Roll in, 2 hours of sleep, wristband still on and clothes from the night before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Been there, done that.
So then you were living this double life. Like, how did you feel when you were like, go to church? Like, knowing that you were like, what did your church, what were your feelings? What were they saying about things? And you were doing all this and then.
Yeah, I was a very good girl.
Mm-hmm.
I did all the right things. I put up a good front. I was, trying to be accepted. That's what it all boiled down to, is I was always trying to be accepted by whoever, anywhere. And especially with, the religion and stuff, you were expected to do a lot and, get up in front and talk and all this stuff. And it also helped that I was the only girl and all the teenage boys were all who I hung out with.
Right.
So I had a crush at church for years. I'd look at him and watch him and write his name on my book and, fantasize about marrying him, because that's all that you're taught to do, is you're going to get married after you're 18 and have babies and
live happily ever
make a good
after.
housewife. And so that was like my dream, and fantasized about him. So finally, fast forward, we were probably 17 when we were being bad kids. We were out doing whatever and drinking and messing around and stuff. So one of the kids got in trouble with the law. And so it all had to come out in the congregation. And so we all got disfellowshipped because he threw everybody under the bus. Mm-hmm. And it was like, all right, well, I'm almost 18, like, oh well, type of thing, but threw everybody under the bus. So then we're all hanging out still because we're all still in the same town.
Right. And you're all in the naughty kids club. So
yeah,
might as well.
So I finally got to fuck him.
Mm-hmm. How was that?
It was awful. I was like, well, that's over. Fantasized about this guy for years. Finally had sex with him, and it was like, well, okay then.
Do you think was it inexperienced or lack of chemistry? Because your hormones for him were like, woo.
Yeah, no, and by that time, I was more experienced than him. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he was just a bump on a log, and
he was the pillow princess?
Yes, I put on a good show. Like, I'm awesome. And he did not. So I was like, okay, well, that's over. I can move on now.
Isn't it funny how, like, sometimes there's people, it's like the sexual tension just builds. And then you're like, it was either great or awful, or you were just like, well, we did it. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it was just a super letdown. I remember being just like, all that time spent.
All of my fantasies wasted.
But yeah, no. Anyways, got that out of my system. I was the catch. I was, working and working out and doing all the right things. And I got proposed to a few times in my life. Mm-hmm. And but they were always not like the hottest guys, because I would just take attention from anybody. Mm-hmm. And that's who I could get it from.
So that was kind of like the hole in your soul, was like that need for attention, but it was just like never satisfied.
Mm-mm. I'd always get the ick. Mm-hmm. And I'd get
the ick before we knew what the ick was, right?
Oh yeah.
And And so how long did this kind of like cycle then? So what was kind of your pathway then? Would you just like, you would take attention from anybody, then would you sleep with them, then get the ick, then run type thing? Or what was kind
Not
of your...
necessarily sleeping with every single one of them. But,
No, me neither. But yeah, the attention's always good.
But yeah, I'd, get tired of that or figure out that they weren't all that's cracked up to be. It usually came around to if they were doing anything with their life, like would they be a good provider? Would they be husband material? And they never really were.
And so at what point did you figure out that you needed something more or found something more?
Yeah, so I moved to Southern California after high school, and that was the prime time. I was 21, 22 years old.
Oh, yeah.
Prime time. I got to hang out with all the hot guys. I worked on an ambulance and got to have some fun on the ambulance. I was having a good time. But that's when I met my first husband. And seemed good. He proposed by saying, I think my clothes would fit in your closet. So, yeah, that happened.
Boy, if that was your proposal, I'm like, what were the other ones that you said no to?
None of them were roses and candlelight or anything either.
Yeah.
But
so what made him, like, at that time that you felt, okay, this is it?
Well, he had that BAH pay and medical benefits because he was in the military.
And he was hot.
Yeah.
You're like...
You have to remember I've, been divorced from him for 13 years now, so we're still friends. We're totally fine.
It's kind of hard to remember, right?
But yeah, I was infatuated with the idea of having a provider. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah. And we had a great time. We were good friends. We had fun. The problem with him, though, is 3 years is my max. Mm-hmm. And that's when I really figure someone out. And I usually cut and run at about 3 years. Mm-hmm. So whether it was a relationship or my first marriage, that was about the time when it was like, I'd start to get that ick.
And what is that you're figuring out about them that gives you that ick?
I think it's probably figuring more out about me than anybody else. Mm-hmm. That this wasn't what I was looking for. I don't know.
And what has Kiki been looking for?
Looking for, back to the religion, the godly man that will, take care of me and my heart and the house and all those things. I don't know, we're getting not super sexy now, but
I know, but you just never know where these conversations go. I was listening to one that we did, Slut Diaries, and I was like, that was more informative than slutty, but it still all has its place in the podcast because it's all part of your journey to get to where you need to be, which involves sexuality as well.
Absolutely.
So Socrates over there, I feel you, like something's brewing that you want to chime in with.
What you got?
I just have one question for both of you guys.
Okay.
Define the word ick.
Define the word ick.
Where you see through that infatuation that you first get, like, oh, this guy's awesome. He's hot. He does me good. Whatever it may be, And then you start to see the real him underneath, or they do something that's just not, I don't know. Could be something stupid, like their teeth weren't that great. Mm-hmm. But when you're with somebody for a long time, like married or in a relationship, after a while they start to just sit on the couch and play video games all day. And you're like, I don't like that.
It's kind of like if there is a facade, that it all kind of crumbles for me. So it's like, okay, I thought that this was what it was going to be. And then it kind of all crumbles and you're like, oh, well, shit.
You kind of get in the, not lazy, but just like the daily stuff. Mm-hmm. And they don't give you the attention that they used to, or work as hard for it. I don't know.
Right. Well, and I always look at myself too, because I've always, like, this is the first relationship where I felt like someone matched my energy. And all the other ones, I was just like, man, I'm putting in so much and not getting back even a good return on it, because we all bring different qualities to the table. But this is the first one where I felt like, oh, and then he's continued to do it for years now. So, or in the casual situations where you get the ick is like, yeah, like she said, something stupid. It just sort of like a little, if it's like a really bad thing, like there's a couple guys I've gotten the ick where it's like, I feel like a spidey sense of like, there's something dangerous about them and not fun dangerous. So I just get this like little chill up my spine. And then I'm like, I got to get away from this dude. I don't really know everything, but I got to get away. Or yeah, just it was today, years old. No, not today, years old. But, or like when a guy will send you a dick pic while he's sitting on the toilet. That gives me the ick.
Yeah, that's not cute.
Yeah, just stuff, just stuff like that. Whereas like, oh, babe, if you did that, I'd be fine with it because like we're married and I love you. I'll come make out with you while you're on the toilet. I don't care. But just like some rando dude from back in the day or like whatever, it's like, no. So, man, if you're listening, don't send women unsolicited dick pics, and especially not ones while you're sitting on the toilet. So, does that answer your question, Socrates?
Yes, ma'am. Appreciate you.
So now you're in your 20s. You've gotten married. You've gotten the ick. Where do you think you really started, like, finding that sexual freedom?
So a part of my first marriage was, so he was in the military, so he was very addicted to porn and jerking off. And that's because he was in war and that's what they did while they were over there. Like I've come to terms with that now, but
Right.
that came back full circle into where's the attention to me. So I did anything and everything to keep getting his attention. So that's my first foray into like swinging. And I don't know if you want to talk about that on this side of the podcast, but having a girlfriend and kind of doing all these sexual adventures and to keep things spicy because I wanted him to keep the attention on me.
Yeah, so you're trying to
going
keep
off
things
to go
fun and
jerk
new
off
and
all the time.
Yeah, and fresh.
But he didn't follow the rules. And so that was really unfortunate because that gave me a lot of trust issues.
Right.
And I still have issues about men masturbating, which sucks because I don't want to be that way, but it's still there, deep-seated,
Right.
big time. Because I'd catch them in the middle of the night and stuff like that. And
yeah, and is it because, so for me, I really hope my ex-husband, he probably will never listen to these, but I really hope he never does because I just throw him under the bus like every other podcast. But I know for me, it's like, if you're having sex with me as much as possible or whatever, and then you still need to do that, great. Or you just want a quick thing here and there. I understand. Oh, you're in the shower, wife's not around, you just want to pop one off, cool. But if it's like starting to replace, like, is that what you felt? Is like kind of, it was like replacing you, was replacing time with you, or you just don't want it at all? Like, what's kind of your thinking?
no, we still did
feeling?
it, but he was addicted. It was his routine. And it was very frustrating to me because I felt like I'm doing everything right. I'm a good wife and trying to have babies and all this stuff. And so it was a big thing where finally it was like, I can't keep doing this. So we separated. Well, actually before that, we had an open relationship while he was on deployment. And that's how I met my next boyfriend.
The plot thickens. I've always wondered that about deployment. I'm like, is there people like they honestly try to stay faithful, or they have an understanding, or what? Because do you think that's common with like military people? That they're just,
I don't know if they talk about it, but I'm sure it's happening. I know first deployment, I was faithful. I'm best wife ever, and sending him pictures of me and, you know, trying to keep him happy. But the next deployment, we definitely had like, yeah, no, I'm going to do stuff and I'll let you know. I'll send you pictures of that.
Yeah,
type
and
of
that
thing.
was mainly for you. Did he have to have like any part in like permission of like who it was or anything, or you just kind of did whatever?
I did whatever.
Yeah.
Because this was the end of our marriage too.
So you were like, I don't care about your opinion anymore?
Yeah, well, I kind of came to terms with the fact that I'd never be enough for him. You know, like he was still going to be addicted to porn and jerking off. So
do you really feel like anything like that sexual is like not makes you not enough? Have you come to terms with that, like in your own heart, of how like the two don't really have anything to do with each other? Like I get it because I get trapped in the enough wheel and did a lot in my first marriage. This guy right here has helped me to move away from that. But because like you are enough just all on your own, but him doing that doesn't have anything to do with you.
Yeah. No, and I realized that he had a lot of, you know, PTSD and stuff to work through on his own. And so that was part of our parting ways. But I still had fun, you know, making videos and doing all this stuff for him. And so that was part of the fun part of me being at home alone and, you know, getting on Adult Friend Finder and messing around.
How was that experience?
I mean, I've been watching porn for a long time. So that's the irony of it all is I don't like them to do it, but I want to do it. As I look at Socrates and go, see? But
how do you deal with the hypocrisy, Kiki?
I fully am aware of it.
Yeah.
And my now husband is aware of it and encourages me to watch porn and masturbate, and he's all for it. And not that I say no, he can't do that, but it's more like, no, let's do stuff together if you need to do that. Now when I'm out of town, he can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, Socrates does as well, but I don't. He rarely does. And then I've done it like maybe once or twice in the last month. I used to do it more often, but lately I'm just like, I'm too tired to have sex with myself sometimes.
Yeah.
That's pretty bad.
And that's life. I mean, that's phases we go through. But, you know, I like pleasing myself. I really do. But it gets boring too. You got to switch it up.
Right. So then you meet this boyfriend. You're at the end of your first marriage. And then where did you go from there?
So, well, we were only together for a few years. I always wanted to be the independent, you know, do everything, but then I'd get upset when they weren't helping me out and stuff. So dating was awful after I moved back home after that boyfriend. I dated for about a year. This is like new dating, like dating apps. And it was fine. I had some good sex here and there, but it didn't fill the void or anything like that. Found my now husband, and he gave me all the attention and treated me right. Didn't want to get married right away though, so I made him wait a couple years. But
so you passed the 3-year ick mark? Did you wait to marry him?
We got married probably 2.5 years into being together. So, yeah.
And so what made him different? Like, what set him apart? Like, you said give it all the attention. Do you find that you will reach a place where being just Kiki is enough? Or is that still a battle for you that you do need attention from your husband, from other men, women? Like, we all enjoy it, right?
Yeah.
But I think there's a difference between like having that hole in your soul that's like needs that attention and the validation versus just enjoying it. Like it's a pleasurable thing. Does that make sense?
absolutely. And I think
I'm just trying to be real and authentic with you of like
yeah.
where
And
you're
that's a
at.
really good question because I think I'm right teetering on both sides of that, where I go through phases where I'm good. Like, and the extra stuff is just fun and icing on the cake. And sometimes, there is more feeling of a need for more attention than not. And I don't know, I think that's just an ebb and flow of life, maybe.
Well, and being a woman and emotions and the different phases we have every
Oh,
28 days.
that and the different fluctuations in weight and stuff like that. I know you guys talked about that on a recent episode, but different self-conscious stuff and whatever. But
And you mentioned therapy, and how has therapy helped you with all of this? Like when we were talking about you being on the podcast, you're like, I've realized a lot of things in therapy, and so I really think I should be on the podcast and talk about my journey. But what do you think's been the most helpful from therapy in this whole journey for you?
yeah, my therapist does hypnosis with me. Have you done hypnosis?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Man, I had no idea how cool it was. I thought it was just a bunch of mumbo jumbo, like weird, whatever, putting you in a trance or something. But it is amazing. It's guided me through some deep stuff, the deep-seated childhood stuff that I didn't. If you asked me a few months ago, I'd say, no, I had a great childhood. Everything's good.
Yeah.
But there's a lot there with the religion, of always feeling left out. And then with my dad, like I wouldn't say I have daddy issues, but I do.
Yeah.
That, I've always wanted attention and still to this day will always seek it, but I've come to terms with it that he's just been working on his own sobriety, and that's just the way it is. And so I'm just thankful when we do get to spend time together and get to see him as a grandpa to my kids, and just enjoy the time that I do get with him, even though it may not be 100% like what I'm looking for, but I've come to terms with it.
What do you think that you are looking for in that complete package of just that male figure in your life? And if you haven't sat there and contemplated it, that's okay too. Maybe some of my questions don't even need to be answered today. There's something that you can take home and meditate on and journal on yourself.
Yeah.
This is like turning into freaking therapy instead
You're
of
a good therapist.
whole sexual journey.
How much do you charge an hour?
Well, for you, darling, I'll make you a special deal.
No, I've always wanted that man that, I can trust and that I can be myself with and not have to put up a front of being, the best wife ever. But and I do have, my husband is let me be myself, and that we've explored and gotten, adventurous in the bedroom, and that's been amazing. Unlocked lots of levels with our sex, and so that's good. But I don't know. You're right. I should probably contemplate that for myself.
Yeah, I think too, like in the midlife that we're in, is like, some people say it's like too late for new beginnings or other things. I think it's the perfect time to contemplate and think about what we want, because really at the age we're at, our life is only like half over. And the first half of that half, our brains weren't even fully developed yet, right?
Yeah.
So if you think about it, we're only like we're entering the third quarter, right?
That's right.
But the first quarter we were just barely getting off the bench, right? The second quarter we're like, oh, let me fuck up a bunch of stuff here, and then it's like now we're going to the second half, and there's so many teams that are referred to as second half teams. Well, there's a lot of people that you look at through history that are second half people. They become millionaires in their 50s and 60s. They go on to do all these great things later in life, but society wants you to feel bad because you don't do this. I didn't even own a house, like buy a house myself, until I was 40.
Yeah.
It's like, who cares? you know.
I tell my kids all the time, I said, you're not going to actually know yourself until well into your 30s.
Yeah. It's super cool to see some younger kids like doing really cool things. We've met some really cool young people lately that are doing big things already. And that's great. But there isn't really a timeline on it. It's like, you know, sometimes you got to do a few things, right? And then, so I think at the age in life that we're at is the perfect time to contemplate and decide what we want the rest of our life to look like.
Yeah, for sure.
And especially if we've got kids, you know, getting out.
Moving on out, and
we're moving on to different phases with being grandparents
Can we just say
ourselves. Yeah.
We're glad that we didn't have babies in our 40s.
Yeah. I'm very glad that I did
No
all
offense
that
to
young.
anybody else, but I had my babies in my 20s.
It is
I'm
weird.
almost done.
I know, me too. It is weird though, like as being 40, like you can either be a grandma or a new mom. And it's kind of wild. So, but I feel like you have some juicier stuff to talk about, but you know, we always like to tease our listeners a little bit and then go on for that second part. So, we're going to wrap up this part. Thank you so much for listening today. We hope this podcast has been an encouragement to you. You can find us on our website, thesirenoffreedom.com, and also on social media and Patreon under the Siren of Freedom Podcast. Your support is what helps us continue to sound the alarm of freedom.